When I moved into my house 3 years ago, the big selling point was the secluded backyard. It's got a tall fence, shady oaks, and a sparkling pool that's basically my private oasis. Of course, paradise doesn't last long when your neighbor is Karen. Karen runs our HOA like her own personal kingdom. She once tried to fine me for having unapproved patio furniture. A couple of lounge chairs from Home Depot. She's the type who measures grass with a ruler and leaves passive-aggressive notes about trash bins left out 5 minutes too long. So when I installed a pool heater last fall, I knew she'd sniff around eventually. Sure enough, last week I found Karen peering over my 6-foot privacy fence with a pool test kit in her hand. "Can I help you?" I asked. She jumped like I'd caught her stealing my mail. "Your chlorine levels are off. I need to inspect your pool water." I reminded her that my pool is private property. She insisted the HOA has full authority to inspect for neighborhood health standards. I told her to leave. She huffed and stomped off, mumbling something about uncooperative residents. I figured that was the end of it. I underestimated Karen. The next day, I came home to find my side gate wide open, and Karen standing at the pool's edge, dipping her little test strips in the water. She'd let herself in, uninvited. I told her to get out immediately or I'd call the police. She smirked, flicked her test strip at me, and said she'd call them herself. Apparently, I was endangering the community with hazardous water. She dialed 911 right there in my yard. When the cops showed up, Karen launched into a dramatic speech about contaminated water, kids getting sick, and how she was just protecting the community. The responding officer asked me for my side. I showed him my pool maintenance receipts, the perfectly legal permit for my heater, and, the kicker, my security camera footage of Karen forcing my side gate open. The officer turned to her. "Ma'am, did you have permission to enter this yard?" She crossed her arms. "I don't need permission. I'm the HOA president." Bad answer. Turns out, under our state law, entering a locked or fenced yard without consent is criminal trespass. Breaking the gate latch to do it? Now you've got property damage, too. Karen's face went white when the officer told her she was under arrest. She shrieked about how I'd ruined the neighborhood and how she'd sue me for everything. The officer calmly read her rights while her husband awkwardly tried to apologize on the front lawn. She spent the night in county jail. The HOA board held an emergency meeting the next day. Rumor is they're voting her out as president. My pool is still crystal clear. My gate now has a stronger lock, and the only one testing my water these days is me. Karen can measure her grass all she wants, but she'll never test my patience again.